May we remain standing for a word of prayer. Commissioner Joanne will lead us.
Thank you. Let's believe and pray. Father Almighty, we stand before your great throne. Lord, thanking you for giving us this very, very special day. We also want to thank you for enabling us to be here today for this great moment. We want to commit this day and the agenda and all the activities now and beyond before you. Lord, we want to thank you for this great, powerful mission of Emerging Leaders Fellowship Program. We want to commit this unto your able hands, Lord, that from now on, you are going to guide and give us the wisdom that we need as we embark on this journey to enable the youth, both nationally and globally, in terms of leadership. We want to thank you for the leadership that you provided, and so far we have come this far. We want to thank you even for the resources, and we want to thank you for our partners, because, Lord, you destined that this should happen at this moment in time. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to honor and to work for your people. As we sit here, Lord, begin the session with us and also end with us. We commit each and every one of us present in this gathering before you, that, Lord, it shall be well. And this I've prayed in Jesus' name. Amen.
Thank you so much. You may be seated. The Vice Chair of the Public Service Commission, Honorable Charles Nkoli, the PS, State Department for Youth, Minister of ICT, Innovation and Youth Affairs, the CEO, commissioners, and all the directors, PSC. The APL delegations are from Washington, D.C., the ELF delegations from Kenya, all the board members, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. It's a good morning. We thank God for counting us worth to stand in his presence this morning to serve him. And today we are here to celebrate a milestone that we are going to launch. And in order for us to have a better understanding of why we are here and to know a number of us who are present, it's my humble duty to invite our Commission Secretary and the CEO, Dr. Simon Rotich, to make a welcome remark and also a few introduction. Karibu, sir.
Thank you, Bwana Katone. I was still trying to catch my breath because of having danced. So our chief guest, Professor Kobia, who is on the way, she's joining us shortly. Our other chief guest also, Honorable Peter Mwati, who has given his apology, is away. our chairperson, Madam Charity Kisotu, commissioners, our guests, Karen Wakoli, Executive Director, Emerging Leaders Foundation, Kenya, Ms. Yawa Hansen, Executive Director, Emerging Leaders Forum, Washington, Principal Secretaries led by Mr. Sunguli, and Chief Executive Officers of MDS and their representatives, Heads of Department, Public Service Commission, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning. It's my pleasure to welcome you all to this important and memorable occasion. I wish to thank you all for honoring our invitation to come and join us in witnessing the launch and signing of Memorandum of Understanding between the Public Service Commission and the Emerging Leaders Fellowship Program. I wish to acknowledge everyone who has made this day, this occasion, to happen. I want to specifically thank Ms. Karen Wakoli, Executive Director, Emerging Leaders Foundation, Kenya, and Ms. Yawa Hansen, Executive Director, Emerging Public Leaders, for closely collaborating with our team to make today's ceremony a reality. This event is a milestone in the Commission's journey towards building capacity to transform the public service. My speech is very brief. In conclusion, I wish to also thank our chief guest, Prof. Kobia, for accepting to preside over this function despite the short notice. I will acknowledge that when she arrives. And also our able team led by our chairperson, Madam Charity Kisotu, and everyone else. Just want to acknowledge a few of us who are here. I am aware there are representatives from various ministries. Our peers of Youth Affairs, Mr. Sunguli, Charles, is here. May raise your hand. It's one of the guests. Commissioner of General Prisons, the new kid in the block. May we acknowledge him and congratulate him for the appointment. Mr. Raymond Ocheng, the Youth Secretary. Pleasure, welcome. There are other representatives of various principal secretaries, so I wish to acknowledge all of you and welcome you. We'll start with the program, and if you notice, we are going to have one of our commissioners who has been spearheading this program and made this event a reality, and that is Commissioner Dr. Mweri Muyandi, whom I wish to take this opportunity to welcome her, to make some introductory remarks and give us a way forward. Madam Muyandi, welcome. Can we do a round of applause, please? All these things happening today is courtesy of our efforts, and we really acknowledge and appreciate. Thank you very much.
Good morning. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We have taken a minute trying to deal with the COVID. We are here, and before we can start speaking and talking to what we have today, I would wish that I introduce my fellow commissioners present. If we could stand, please. Commissioners, Public Service. We have already met Joan, Commissioner Joan Otieno. She just led us in prayer. Welcome, Joan. We have Ambassador Salma Ahmed. I don't know how to say that one very well. and that is Ambassador Salma, our commissioner. We have Dr. Chilchil, our other commissioner, and we have Andrew Muriuki, our other commissioner. Others will be joining us later, and I thank you. Karibuni, sit down. Thanks. Having done that, our Vice Chairperson, Public Service Commission, our guest, Principal Secretary, our very own friends from America and Ghana and the Kenyans, you know them shortly. I want to ride on the already established protocol so that we don't spend another 1 hour listing ourselves, but we are all very recognized, we are all very welcome to this forum, and we are all very loved people joining a very important program for the Public Service Commission. As CEO has just said, we expected the chairman of the Parliamentary Committee on Administration and National Security. I knew he was not going to be around. He has traveled for other business. But let me begin by recognizing all of us for this. Our ladies and gentlemen in this room, again, I will say a very good morning to all of us. My role today is going to be very simple and brief. You can believe I'll be here for less than 5 minutes. But in this brief moment here, I want to share the journey that has taken us up to where we are. The idea of nurturing young talents came from our late chairman, Mr. Stephen Kirogo. That is 2019, when all of us were new in the commission and in this vision of turning around the public service, of transforming the public service. And he knew that time, we didn't even know it would take us this long to understand, that the public service is the backbone of Kenya's socio-political development, even economics. He also knew that for that transformation of the public service, we need to have ethical and professional public service. One of the pillars of this transformation was to develop programs that would help in inculcating values, principles, and ethical leadership in the public service. Our gathering here today to launch this program, the Public Service Emerging Leaders Fellowship Program, would have therefore been a very proud moment for the late chairman. I dare say, since he is not here, we represent him in every way to be very proud that at last we have come this far and ready to launch a program that is going to change the way we do business in public service now and into the future. To reach here, however, it has not been a walk in the park, and Yawa and Karen and the Sylvester will attest to this. It has been a long journey which entailed many reviews of the original concept as it was given, as it was introduced to us, and several pauses in between characterized the last 2 years. Today, it's a climax which is almost a real-life representation of the famous Abraham Lincoln's quote on planning and implementation that said this, or he said this: if you give me 6 hours to chop down a tree, I'll spend the first 4 hours sharpening the axe. In this case, in our case, it has taken us 2 long years of sharpening the axe. The journey started with Madam Yawa of the Emerging Public Leaders and Caroline Wakoli, who approached the commission and of course the chairman that time with this idea that they can have something to give to Kenya in nurturing young public leaders who would eventually take up the leadership in the public service. At that time, it looked like a good dream. We dreamt with them, we worked with them, and 2 years later, almost, here we are. Such a program had successfully been launched in Ghana and in Liberia. For those of you who are good historians, Ghana is one of the countries that led the way into independence in the continent. Liberia somehow did not suffer what we suffered because it was under the Americans. So it's that one, and Ethiopia survived somehow colonialism. And the two ladies thought that if it worked for Kenya and it worked for Liberia, so it should work for Kenya. After all these countries have public services and they offer public services. However, looking at the program as it was given, we realized that we need to do a lot of ukalabati, and we worked very hard, sharpening the axe. And in terms of objectives and implementation, we found that where it worked to Ghana, sometimes it may not work so well for Kenya, but so we found a middle way, and here we are partnering and working together to establish that which will be a landmark for this country. Training of young leaders is not new to Kenya. There used to be another young man called Tomboya who thought Kenya needed real servants for public service, and it took so many of them out, and others were taken elsewhere. Anyway, as we moved on with our discussions, our minds got clearer. We knew what we wanted for Kenya. Unlike Ghana and Liberia, we all yearned for nurturing young public service leaders, young men and women who will take Kenya into the greater future. We, and here we is the Commission, ELF and EPL, began with sharpening the axe, like I said, in 2019. And this sharpening of the axe included aligning the proposed program to our existing programs, ensuring that the curriculum addressed the Kenyan unique challenges and met our specific public service needs. At some point in this journey, and in the midst of sharpening the axe, we almost lost hope due to the numerous challenges, including the financial model that we had to adopt. And of course, we all know we were in the middle of COVID-19, and we were not able to meet as often, physically as often as we would have wanted. However, we had many virtual meetings over the months, and our occasional visits to Kenya gave us those critical moments to truly get the program gain root. Our being here today is therefore a true demonstration of never giving up in the face of challenges and deciding to soldier on. The dedicated team from the Commission, the young tax from ELF and EPL ensured that we can gather here today to launch the Public Service Emerging Leaders Fellowship Program. For all of us, the future is bright and certain for public service. We all can make it happen. It is within our powers to bequeath this great nation dedicated public service leaders from emerging from our youth. We are very grateful and wish to appreciate the team which has been working tirelessly to make sure that we have a program fit for Kenya and financing model that suits the Commission's needs. With these very few remarks, I wish then to invite one of the young leaders, Madam Karen Wakoli, the Executive Director, Emerging Leaders Foundation, to give her remarks. Now, who is Karen? Karen, before you can walk here, let us know who you are. You are young. Karen Wakoli is a founder and the Executive Director of Emerging Leaders Foundation, ELF, an organization that nurtures the next generation of ethical leaders in Africa's transformation. She is certified leadership coach, transformational leadership trainer, and a social entrepreneur who delights in mentoring young women and young men to be able to achieve their greatest potential in life. She has over 17 years experience of doing just that, but also in doing policy-related and youth development work in Kenya and Africa at large. Karen has received several recognitions for her commitment to youth and women empowerment in democracy and good governance. In 2018, the 44th President of the United States of America, President Obama, recognized her and the work of Emerging Leaders Foundation of promoting dignity and ending poverty through raising young leaders as positive agents of change in the society. In 2018, she was awarded Most Influential Woman in Business and Government, Civil Society and Welfare category in East Africa by the CEO Global. Now, that is Karen, and she is more than just that. This is just a little bit of who she is. Kindly help me in welcoming Karen to give us a brief talk. Thank you. Karen?
The Vice Chairperson of the Public Service Commission, the Commissioners present, CEO of the Commission, Principal Secretary present, Director, Human Resource, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. How are you feeling this morning? Really? Oh, fantabulous. I love that. Mahatma Gandhi once said that the best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in the service of others. And then Lee Hamilton also said that I can assure you that public service is stimulating. It's a proud and lively enterprise. It's not just a way of life. It is a way to live fully. Let me repeat that line. That public service is not just a way of life, but it is a way to live fully. This is really important for me, and just thinking about being here today is such a big blessing. I have been lucky in my life to have been raised by 2 civil servants. And the fact that we are here today to launch the Public Service Emerging Leaders Fellowship Program is just so amazing. My father was a court clerk. He worked in various parts of the country, and he kept on being moved and transferred from one part of the country to another, and he would happily go. And I remember this particular time when he was given a transfer to go to Lodwar. I come from Bungoma County. You might imagine how far Bungoma County is from Lodwar. And I just imagined, so how often shall we be seeing Dad? And I went to him and I said, Dad, I have a suggestion. I think you should go to your boss and tell them that you're turning down this transfer and you will not take it up. He looked at me and laughed. So my dad is tall. He has a towering figure. And he has a deep voice. So he looked down at me and just laughed and said, my daughter, that's not how government works. You go wherever you are led to. And wherever duty calls, all you need to say is yes and go. And I was really surprised, like, who does that? Like, you just wake up and you go faithfully, no questions. You go and serve and you give your best. And over a period of time, my siblings and I did watch him serve with so much diligence, with so much duty, and so much pride in his work. My mom, on the other hand, was the secretary to the chief. And she really loved her job. She loved her job so much. And she's slightly shorter than me. And she would walk with her head held high, with so much pride, working in the community, and as she goes to work. And she would feel so much pride that she's serving her community through being the secretary to the chief in our locality. And she taught me so many things, but some of those things that stand out are qualities such as selfless service. Every single day, and even days sometimes when she'd be unwell, she would wake up and faithfully go to work. And I think that gave her such a deep sense of meaning in life. And so as I stand here today, I just honor my parents. I honor them for teaching me about public service. And then I didn't know that was public service. I just knew Dad and Mom are working and serving in government. And today here, I am very sure that majority of the audience are public servants. May I just request that you put your hands together to appreciate public servants, please. Thank you so much, because they serve our nation. They get us to where we are as a nation. Back to my parents, they raised my siblings and I to have a deep sense of duty, a deep sense of responsibility. And for me, service is almost second nature. And I have been blessed with many opportunities to serve my nation through various parastatal boards. Cumulatively, I'd say roughly about 13 or so years. And that pushed me not just in serving young people in Kenya, but in the continent at large. And that taught me so much, but I also came across a lot of things and a lot of gaps that I decided, you know what, we would need to create a platform where young leaders are mentored and nurtured and supported to be the best they can be in this life. And so in 2012, I decided to start Emerging Leaders Foundation, this platform where young leaders from all walks of life can come just as they are, get mentored, get supported, get coached to be the best they can be, to discover their potential, to find their space in the boardrooms, at negotiation tables, and make policies and influence policies, and be active and responsible citizens. And at Emerging Leaders Foundation, we do envision a dignified society with values-based leaders. So values and ethics are such a big thing for us. And I'm happy that a number of the audience today, a number of young people today, are some of the alumni who have gone through our mentorship program. And this has been a really interesting journey, and we have encountered a number of young people who are doing some really, really amazing work. And part of what we do is to nurture these leaders to go occupy spaces in government, in the private sector, in media, in academia, community leadership, in every space to lead change where they are. Because we believe that leadership is not leadership without service. So you can see that service is everywhere. But unfortunately, sometimes we have individuals who get into office and want to be served instead of learning or understanding that the essence of leadership is actually service. In 2019, Emerging Public Leaders reached out to Emerging Leaders Foundation and said, we have this program that we are running in Ghana and Liberia, and we would love to bring it to Kenya, and we see you guys are developing leaders and our values are aligned. Can we work together to do a scoping mission to see whether this would work for Kenya? And of course we said yes, because we are working with young people across board. And previously we have influenced and shaped policies like the National Alcohol Policy, largely touching on young people, National Youth Policy, and we also wanted to definitely take part in developing young public sector leaders. And so we said yes. And we are glad that, of course, our board also said yes, and the board of Emerging Public Leaders said yes, and we came together. And at this point in time, I just want to thank the Emerging Public Leaders leadership, because we have Yawa Hansen-Kwao, who's the executive director, present here with us. We have the co-chairs, Betsy Williams, and Her Excellency President Elaine Johnson-Sirleaf, who have actually worked together with the ELF team to make this a success, of course, together with the Public Service Commission of Kenya. And as Emerging Leaders Foundation, we are the local implementing partner in collaboration with Emerging Public Leaders and Public Service Commission of Kenya in getting this to happen. Building synergies is really important. I have come to believe that it's actually almost impossible to lead change alone, either as an individual or as an organization. Government cannot lead all the change on its own. Civil society cannot. Private sector cannot. You cannot on your own, I cannot, but together we are better. And that's why today, when you count 1 + 1, you don't just get 2, you get 1 million, you get 1 billion. Why? The power of synergy, the power of collaborations, the power of meaningful collaboration and partnership. We started having this scoping mission and went around, had conversations with various leaders, various stakeholders, young people, leaders in the private sector, leaders in the public sector, at all cadres and levels, to just find out what has their experience been like in public service. Were they supported as they got in? Where are they at? What support do they require? And such conversations. And for young people, we did ask the question, if you had a chance to serve in government, would you take up that chance? and just inquired a little more to find out if yes, why, if no, why. And that formed such an interesting conversation. One of those public servants we reached out to was a dear friend of mine. And I know that a lot of times people say that it's almost difficult or impossible to find senior public servants who are empathetic, humble, and they can listen to you. But I met this particular person who is amazing. And I've also seen a number of them here that I'll be pointing out shortly. And let me just mention about this particular one public servant. On November, it was on a Saturday, November 9th, in 2019, 2 years ago, at about 11 a.m., I was somewhere near the Supreme Court, just taking a walk, and I thought, you know what? We have this meeting on Monday, Tuesday, and we would like to meet the Public Service Commission and meet a few other individuals in the public service. And so I made a phone call to this particular person, and she did not pick up the call. And so I was sure we wouldn't have the chance to meet this person. But then at about 3 p.m. the same day, on Saturday, my phone rings. I take it out, and I see it's this person calling. So she calls and says, Karen, I'm really sorry that I missed your call, but I'm here now. Let's talk. And I tell her, we are on a scoping mission. We want to see whether this program would be suitable for Kenya, and would love to hear her views. And she said, you know what? If you are able to wake up early on Monday morning at 7, you will find me in my office. I want to support you. I know it can be a little difficult for young people to just come up with programs from scratch and succeed. So I want to open certain doors, and I want to be of support. True to this person's words, the Monday morning, 7 a.m., we were at her office, and she was there with her team. And she listened to us, they listened to us, they asked questions, question after question. They were so eager to understand, what is this program all about? And those conversations opened our eyes to a number of things in the public service, including the fact that this program might not really take off if we don't work with and have conversations with the Public Service Commission of Kenya. This person I'm talking about is Professor Margaret Kobia, the Cabinet Secretary in the Ministry of Public Service and Gender. She's not here now, but she's on her way. But just imagine, on a Saturday, she returns the call and says, you know what, we hadn't planned an appointment, but I'll be there. As long as you can wake up by 7 a.m., you will find me in the office. And she was there. She listened and gave us guidance. And part of the people who were present in that room as we were having the conversation was Raymond Ochieng. Raymond, if you could just stand to your feet. Let's appreciate Raymond. Raymond is the Secretary of Youth at the State Department, and he's been serving young people for such a long time. Him and I have come a long way many years ago through Kenya School of Government and a few other spaces where we got the chance to serve young people. This morning as I walked in here, I also just saw someone who I met many years ago, a young person. By then he wasn't in government, but we sat together on a panel discussing the Kenya we want. We were representing young people. And today, as we spoke, he just mentioned to me that, you know what, Karen, I work at State House. I'm the spokesperson to the president. His name is Mike Gitone. Mike, if you can just stand to your feet and we get to appreciate you. Thank you, Mike. And I know we have Rose Washuka in the house, another young person already working in public service. She's the Chief of Staff. Yes, Rose. Let's appreciate Rose. Chief of Staff to the Chief Justice. And she's young. And you can see there are many young people. And as we were waiting to come to this platform, to this meeting, I saw a number of people having intergenerational conversations, and it was just lovely to hear Mr. Lubembe, who's the chair of the steering committee for the Public Service Emerging Leaders Program, mention that, you know what, I have mentored Dr. Sylvester, I have mentored Raymond, I have mentored so-and-so, and guess what? These people are willing and ready to mentor emerging leaders within the public service. Let's appreciate them. So as I come to the end of my remarks, this is definitely a program that is critical and timely, and we need to be able to tap into the experience, expertise of such individuals within the public service who are doing amazing work and leading with integrity and serving with integrity, making a difference. The 50 fellows who are going to be selected to come on board, I'm sure will be able to benefit in this in a very big way. The Public Service Commission Board, thank you so much for opening your doors to us. We came knocking. We didn't know any one of you. You didn't know us, but you opened your doors to us. We sat down. We had the conversation. You listened to us. You asked questions. We responded. We asked questions. You responded. And 2 years later, here we are. Thank you so much, PSC Board. This is just a confirmation that you are so keen to ensure that there is passing on of the leadership baton in public service. That you are so keen to make sure there's a strong legacy in public service, that young public servants can be mentored and guided by those who've gone before them. And that is a very, very serious commitment. Thank you for that. In my previous life, I happened to have served as an external accredited trainer to the Kenya School of Government, training public servants, especially on matters transformational leadership. And I remember this particular day when we had a class of about 20 individuals. We had really awesome conversations. At the end of the class, I asked one question. What are you committing to as you go back to work after attending this program? And so we went around the room, people saying, I commit to this, I commit to that, I commit to this. But there's one gentleman whose commitment really touched me and touched many of us in the room. He said, let me just repeat what he said, almost verbatim. I am a father of 3. My children do look up to me. I am a public servant. I love integrity. But at some point, I saw that my boss was engaging in his mismanagement of resources, and he never got caught, and so I decided, why not? And I got into that, but that has haunted me since I started that. I go home and my kids run to me and say this or that, but I'm haunted by that. And as we sat in this class and had these conversations, I am convicted that I definitely need to change. And I am committing to standing for integrity at my workplace because of my children. I want my children to see me as a good example of a father who stands on integrity, a father who preaches, who does what he preaches. And I hope it turns out well, but I am going back to work and I will make my stand clear. That was really powerful. And that gentleman's words have stuck with me. Many of us in this room have children, we have grandchildren, we have young people that we get to encounter in our offices, in our workspaces, in our places of worship. What example are they copying and learning from you? Because it's not what we say, it's what we do. And what we do is who we are. What we do is who we are. So I pray that today we get to choose to stand for integrity, like this gentleman, this very bold and courageous gentleman. but we choose to stand for integrity, for the sake of our children, our children's children, and the future generations, and of course, most importantly, for the sake of Kenya. We sang the words of the National Anthem at the start of this meeting. And I would just like to point out a few lines of the National Anthem. O God of all creation, bless this our land and nation. Justice be our shield and defender. That line, justice be our shield and defender. May we dwell in unity, peace, and liberty, and plenty be found within our borders. Let one and all arise, with hearts both strong and true. Now this next line is really powerful. Service be our earnest endeavor. In our homeland of Kenya, heritage of splendor, firm may we stand to defend. Let all with one accord in common bond united build this our nation together. And the glory of Kenya, the fruit of our labor, fill every heart with thanksgiving. Build this our nation together. And that last line in the second stanza that says, firm may we stand to defend. May we stand to defend integrity. May we stand to defend citizen participation, which is a key component of this Public Service Emerging Leaders Fellowship Program, that we want to nurture a new generation of public servants who put citizens at the center of the work that they do, who are grounded in public service ethics and in public service leadership. May we stand to defend our young people and children. May we stand to defend our national unity. May we stand to defend Kenya. Ladies and gentlemen, I leave you with the words of our own Professor Wangari Maathai, who said that there comes a time when humanity is called to shift to a new level of consciousness, to reach a higher moral ground, a time when we have to shed our fear and give hope to each other. And that time is now. What we are doing here today is giving hope to each and every one of us. And most importantly, it is going to make Kenya to stand strong, and it's going to make Kenya to win. Thank you so much. God bless you, and God bless Kenya.
I'm back again, and this time I want us to welcome our dear sister Yawa Asenkuo to come and talk to us of how far we have walked, and so that we know who Yawa is. Some of us come from this part of the country where there's Yawa, so I don't know what it means. But she is Yawa Asenkuo. Yawa is a global executive director, Emerging Public Leaders, EPL. She is, as you soon hear, a visionary leader who has spent her entire career unlocking opportunities for young people, women across Africa and beyond. As a global executive director of Emerging Public Leaders, Yawa works to create better governance in African nations by investing in young people in public service. Yawa has passion for improved governance, peace building, and deepening of democracy in Africa. Our home is in Ghana for most part. If you all remember Kwame Nkrumah with independence now, that's where it started. Now Yawa is here again to tell us young people can take this country, can take Africa in another level that we have not even started dreaming about. Yawa holds a MA degree in gender, peace, and security from Kofi Annan International Training Center. She also has honors studies in entrepreneurship and new product development at the American University of Rome, and a BSc in business administration from Ashesi University College. In 2012, she was recognized by the World Economic Forum as one of Africa's rising leaders, and in 2016 was awarded the Eisenhower Fellowship in honor of our pioneering women's leadership development work in Africa. Ladies and gentlemen, join me in welcoming Yawa to the podium. Thank you. Yawa, my sister, karibu.
Thank you. Good morning. Before I begin, I would like to honor the memory of the late PSC chairman, Mr. Stephen Kurogo. His enthusiasm, commitment, and support played a big role in what we're doing here today. Instead of a moment of silence, can you give him a moment of applause? I want to express deep gratitude to all of our valued partners and all of the honorable guests that are gathered here today.
Iko sawa?
Give us an extra one. And a moment from now, our principal guest will be joining us. So let's get tushangilie Kenya. I request all of us to be upstanding. Tumeketi sana. Tushangilie Kenya pamoja. Ni nchi yetu, na kama unaipenda tusimame tu kwa heshima ili tuweze kuishangilia nchi yetu ya Kenya. Twende kwaya. Daima daima.
Check.
Hii inafanya na hiyo nyingine.
That is one of my favorite.
Yeah. Hatutachokea daima na milele. Kenya kipenzi chetu, hatutaiacha milele daima. Kenya kipenzi chetu, hatutaiacha milele daima. Na milele. Kenya kipenzi chetu, hatutaiacha milele daima. Kenya kipenzi chetu, hatutaiacha milele daima. Kutumikia Kenya daima na milele. Kenya kipenzi chetu, hatutaiacha milele daima. Kenya kipenzi chetu, hatutaiacha milele. Na nitadanganywa kamwe na wabadu, mimi ni mwana Kenya daima. Mimi ni mwana Kenya daima, sitadanganywa kamwe na wabaya. Mimi ni mwana Kenya wala sitapotoshwa na wabaya daima. Mimi ni mwana Kenya daima. Mimi ni mwana Kenya daima. Wenzangu, Kenya kipenzi chetu, hatutaiacha milele daima. Kenya kipenzi chetu, hatutaiacha milele daima. Daima. Asanteni sana, tunaweza keti. Kwaya tuendelee tafadhali. Kwaya mliniambia mko na nyimbo karibu 20. Tuendelee tafadhali. Special request from the CEO. Si mnaelewa? Chezee kitu alafu tuone akiteremka. Twende kazi. Kwaya, wimbo Zipora. Hii ni yangu ama ni ya jukwaa?
Hii ni kama.
Oh, acha ikae hapo. Sawa. Aya. Commissioners, huo wimbo ni wenu tafadhali. Na ni makosa wimbo uende hivyo chini. Naomba CEO awateremshe commissioners wetu angalau wanengue kiuno kidogo. Wapi makofi ya commissioners wetu wanapojumuika na kwaya yetu kidogo tu, tupunguze uzee. Karibuni commissioners. Asante kwa kukubali. Daktari. Tupunguze uzee. Wapi Brown? Tafadhali Brown hata jumuika uwanjani. Yule anaona Brown karibu na yeye, amwambie Mike anamhitaji kwa uwanja. Brown Kutwa, kama unanipata, unahitajika uwanjani. Nani amemuona? Yule yako karibu na Brown aambiwa anahitajika. Angalia commissioners wetu wanavyonengua kiuno. Wapi makofi? Taita Taveta tunawakilishwa? Wapi dada gavana mtarajiwa? Twende ugani tafadhali. Nani atapeleka gavana mtarajiwa? Twende kwenye jukwaa. Alifikiria sijui. Ninamanya. CEO wetu naona najua kutengeza mapeka. Inaitwa muziki ya mapeka, 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 mapeka. Dada Patience uwanjani. Asante. Gavana mtarajiwa. Wapi dada Karen Wakori? Wafikiria nimekusahau? Tulianza kitambo na wewe. Karen, twenda ugani. Who have seen Miss Yawa? Can she be requested to join the dance? Bwana Brown ukimwona PS. Bwana Charles Nkuli, zamani tukiwa vijana wadogo alikuwa machachali, ajumuike uwanjani. Wapi makofi ya PS wetu Sunkuli? Wapi commissioner wetu wa magereza? Congratulations sir. Jiunge nasi tafadhali. Tuonyeshe ukakamavu wako kama mwanajeshi. Karibu commissioner. Karibu sana.
Remy Mulati.